Hello. Today, I want to talk about one of your questions that you have. Sometimes I think they're best answered like this in video. Of course, I write about this topic a lot too. But today, I want to give you just a few points on how to plan everything. I get that all the time. How do we plan everything? We wear these many different hats. How do we get it all in for the day? So I'm going to give you some takeaways from it. I'm going to try to keep this short, but there's no promises. I have a lot of details. I roll with the details. I want you to have them. First, let me tell you who I am. I'll spend just a little bit doing that because this is about you. Like I always say, it is about you. I want you to get some good points from this video. I'm Tina Robertson. My site is Tina's Dynamic Homeschool Plus. I have a group, Homeschool Dynamics by Tina Robertson, and my Facebook page is How to Homeschool Easy, the letters EZ. I have some online courses for new homeschoolers, as well as a learning personality course for all homeschoolers. I am the creator of the 7-step homeschool planner. I row organize, like I mentioned before. I love lap books, hands-on, unit studies, and anything creative as a way to be able to teach our kids. But let me jump into how to plan everything. But let me just tell you this one fact about myself, because I feel like it can help you to know where I'm coming from. Sometimes advice is better taken or given when you kind of understand a little bit about the person, right? For me, it is anyway. As I explained before, I'm a very organized person. And you would think that would help you. In some ways, it does. It does, because I'm going to tell you what I reject. And hopefully that can help you. But sometimes it can be a handicap because you can have a perfectionist streak and then be crippled and not get anything done. That's not good either. Okay, so don't think it's always a good thing. We wrestle with things being perfect before we get started, are constantly changing them, which I rejected. I don't do that. Okay, let me tell you back to how to plan everything. Here's one thing you have to remember when it comes to being any type of organized homeschooler. Your definition of what you adopt as planning everything and being organized is important. For example, I don't follow websites, systems, or resources that don't live my life. It's unrealistic. I happen to be brutally realistic, which is why I created the 7-step homeschool planner. There's not another one like it because I reject pre-made planners. Why? Because your life is unique, your homeschool is unique, your children are unique. You need a system that fits you. That's why my 7-step homeschool planner, at every step, you choose the forms and the pages you need for this year. Instead of something, here, try to fit this. There's something wrong with you. You can't do it. I don't like systems like that. The best systems are the most simple. Not someone saying, here, I have a great new organization system, a great new planner. Now, something's wrong with you if you can't fit it all in. It doesn't work like that's not organized. That's chaos. And every time I read someone that said, well, you know what? Here's this brand new spanking something. I'm like, okay. But it doesn't fit my personality. It doesn't fit the way I live my life. And all it's going to do is bring stress. All right. That's the foundation of how I choose things to help me plan everything. Okay, so the second point I want you to understand is what is everything? See, I told you I was brutally realistic, okay? Some people start to homeschool, some homeschoolers start to homeschool and believe they can do everything. I learned we can't do everything. Oh, sure, you could, but is all of it going to be Excellent. Is all of it going to be good? What's the most important to you? Only you can make that decision. So if we're going to plan everything, I suggest, what are your top 3 everythings? Is it working, homeschooling, taking care of family, you, the house, meals? Where are you struggling right now? Something is not going to be as top notch as the other things. That's not realistic. We only have so many hours in the day. And we don't want to breathe, sleep, and eat and live everything homeschool. Okay, well, sometimes we do. The fun parts we do. But we want a break from it. We want to do other things. We need to cook, clean, and heaven knows if we get any time for ourselves, we want that time too. But I do believe you should prioritize. I know for me, for example, here's how I prioritized. I'm not the kind of person that can get up with chaos and start a school day. I just can't. I can't. I don't try to be someone I'm not. In order to be the best teacher for my kids, I have to feed my need for clutter-free quiet. Nothing I can do about it. I have other friends who can take more clutter, a little more relaxed. See, that you have to have an honest evaluation of yourself. So first, what is your teaching personality? That does go in line with the mom that you are. Now, here's where I rein myself in. Do I have to have it exact and perfect for that day? And I question myself all the time. Is this okay enough, Tina, for you to get started? Yeah, it is. So don't be overbearing thinking I have to have everything in line. But I have to have things picked up. We have to have had our breakfast. We pretty well have to have a picked up house somewhat. But totally clean? No. Because guess what? My second priority is that homeschooling when we begin our day and my children's education is important to me. So will I get on the phone and start doing bills? No, I won't. Will I answer a phone call from a friend? No, I won't. I know it may sound overly, but that's how I make good decisions. And I don't bring stress on myself or my kids because I have to plan everything. So these are my top 3. I know what how the house has to be when we begin to homeschool. I know homeschooling is important. And the next thing is we have to eat. Unfortunately, unless you have a maid, which I highly encourage you to get one if you can, or a housekeeper, I'm all for that. If you can even have someone who can cook meals, I'm all for that. You can pay someone to do that loves to do that. But that hasn't been in my case for very many years. So I know that I don't want at the last minute to be stressed. What are we going to eat? How about, I don't want to compromise. It doesn't have to be something overly complicated. Simple food is best, I learned. So I fixed those 3 areas. I knew what we had to do in the morning. I had a schedule for pickup. I have an exact time to start school because that's what organization is about. That's how you plan everything. You plan everything, but not just plan it in your mind. You plan everything by communicating visually and expressing to others what you want. We can't have our kids help us, and they want to help us if we don't explain to them how to do it, when, and what. That's the other mistake. In our mind, we have this great big how we want things to do, but we don't take the time to show our kids or to communicate to them. And most kids, they love it. They think it's a game when they're young, and that's fine. And as they grow older and they get adults, and like mine, they begin college and their careers and their life out from you, you would have taught them valuable skills for their life. When you teach them first at home, this is how we're going to rumble for today. And then the next thing I did with meals is I rejected the weekly planning of meals. I plan my meals 30 days at a time. Yes, I do. And there is no give on that. And it doesn't take any more than 15 or 20 minutes more. Now, in the beginning, it took a little bit longer because when I started writing down the meals we ate, I thought, I know I cooked more than these 7 meals. So I started writing down meals that we ate. And then I created a big, huge binder. I'm going to share that in another video with you, of 365 meals that my kids and husband will eat. No fuss, no fighting. I have been through all these meals, changing them and tweaking them to fit my children's nutritional needs and my husband and myself. That was important to me. So I stopped and I created a system and I addressed each one of those. Now, everything else, because I know part of my time in the morning is the kind of person I am, I know that though my sons have their exercising room and all this and their physical activity and all this, I know that if I just walk one time for the day, I'm a lot better person. So I've never given that up through the years. So along with walking and preparing the type of meals that I've wanted, I've maintained, and the homeschool, I've maintained what's important. See, so I knew that we were going to have to walk for each day. We were going to get our walk in. That's all there was to it. That's the way our day was going to start. And sometimes if it didn't start that way, it's the way our day was going to end. And then school was going to start at a certain time and the house was going to be picked up. Now I put down certain times for these. Some people are like, oh, there's no way we could do a time. Well, I understand, but unless I have expectations, I felt like they wouldn't be met. Sure, I can say, all right, we're going to start 30 minutes or whatever. But when I had a clear communication and a time of when we started, I kept expectations on myself. I'm the type of person that I like to get things done for the day, not stressed, not like I'm running to every hour and every minute of the day. But yes, I put expectations on myself because I like living life like that. I like accomplishing something for the day. It feels good. And so the balance is, here's where I feel the balance is. We can't just say willy-nilly, this is what I'm going to be doing for the day. And someone else can say, well, good luck on that. I think the balance is saying, this is what I want to get done for the day, but can we get these things done in the AM and these things done in the PM? See, there's another kind of tightening it up a little bit, but still keeping it loose. Or we can say within these couple of hours, this is what we want to get done. I tend to roll better that way. I know I'm probably in the minority, but it's not stressful. It's very successful because there's a lot I manage for the day. I don't run around rushing. If during those 2 hours, I don't feel like getting those things done because, say we're tired or something came up, okay, fine. We just mark it off, but it's on there. I create expectations for the day of putting everything in for the day. So I suggest, again, another takeaway is give your top 3. Then the second is to decide what type of routine or schedule. Keep it pretty loosey-goosey right now if you're still in the beginning stages of organizing and scheduling. Say, okay, AM we're going to do this and PM we're going to do this. And then the third tip I would give you is I would encourage you to have a start to the day. I read a lot of homeschoolers. I've been doing this for a long time. I told you I've homeschooled well over 20 years. Not only that, but I taught workshops to new homeschoolers in person for 10 years. There's been so many questions I've had. There's been many success stories I've seen of others who went before me. Their kids graduated, working, have families. And I've seen many families while I've been homeschooling. And one takeaway I take away, and I've learned from this, is that, and it's something I've never given up, and that is having a start to the day. I read some who say, well, we just start whenever the kids get up. And you know what? You can do that when everybody's not feeling good. But you know what? Whether a person is in college, works for themselves, or works for an employer, there's expectations on all of us. And I'd rather my kids have a few of those expectations. It's not undemanding, it's not controlling, it's not overbearing, but it's kind. It's expecting something of my kids, not something brutal and unrealistic. But if you set expectations, your kids will rise to them. And a lot of kids, a lot more than you probably realize, or maybe you do, love knowing exactly what they need to get done for the day. Now, I didn't want to do that with my kids because I don't roll like that. I do roll more organized probably because it works better for our family. And I see the success in getting what I want to get done for the day. But I'm not going to be overly. I'm not going to set timers. I had one son that wanted me to set a timer. I was like, well, I'm not doing that. That stresses me out, But I will have a start to the day. We had an exact start to the day every day of our homeschool. We have had. That's the third thing I will say, because then clear communication, expectations. Someone's not over here dawdling. Someone over here is like, well, I'm not ready. Well, here's the time to start our school. Now, for us, it always was 9 o'clock. Now, there were some years when my household was young, and I would have a toddler, the newborn, preschooler, and everybody was up early. So if everybody was up early and everybody was fed, I started at 7 o'clock. And we got in a good hour by about 8 before one of the others had to go back to bed. Okay, now after that smoothed down and the kids got older and the naps all stopped and my household got a little bit older, then I realized 9 o'clock was about a good time for us to get started. Now, here's the thing. You're going to have to decide what's good for your household. There's many people that work shift work. There's special needs kids who could go 3 or 4 days without sleeping well. Obviously, don't bring that stress on your family. I'm not talking about that. You have to do what is good for your family. But still, even at that, after they get up, you can encourage them. Usually it's my rule of thumb is about an hour after everyone gets up. I've had plenty of sick times. I have plenty of, my husband's worked 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week. It's been craziness. I couldn't always do that. But what I could do is keep in mind an expectation. Okay, everyone's up. In about an hour, we're going to start school. So that gives you a start to your day, how to put everything in. Okay, so those are a few of the tips. I have some other tips about how to lesson plan, how to divide that out, but I want to give you general tips on how to keep things realistic. I would list them AM, PM, but you can't list everything. You're going to have to decide what are your top 3, because we can't get everything done in for the day. And I cannot tell you how many homeschool moms I have helped. And they don't want to reduce it to this. There's no way we could do that. Sometimes, I never told them that, and this is between you and I, sometimes I think to myself, they really don't want a solution. They just want to say all these things they have to do. And you know what? As a working homeschool mom and having a business, a site, homeschooling, pre-K to high school to college, graduations, taking care of aging parents, I think we all have our fair share of having a lot on our plate. We all do. And I would never say they didn't, because I don't know their circumstances, just like nobody knows mine. But I can say, if you're not willing to prioritize, you will continue to be crippled with how to plan everything. Some things have to be let go. In other words, not that you don't do them, but when I get time for the day, I'll address these other things. That's what I had to do, because these 3 things are the most important thing to me for the day. That's how you make it a workable solution. You can do this. Okay? You can do this. And like I said, I have some other posts about how to lesson plan, and I'm going to be talking to a video about sharing about how I do my 30-day meal planning, because I do not believe in 1 week. I do not believe in 2 weeks of meal planning. I didn't say you bought like that. I said you plan like that. The planning part was always the hardest because it required more mental. But if I had a plan, I could look at the end of the 7 days and then get groceries for the next 7 days. I could still take advantage of sales, budgets, whatever. The planning part was the hardest part. And I'm going to share a video on how to do that too. Okay, till next time. Bye.